Hi guys, today we are going to be discussing something that is super prominent this year, and that is vision boarding. If you're interested in videos about spirituality, creativity, manifestation, wellness, and combining all of these things in your life, subscribe down below. I will also have all of my links in the description, and I can't wait to go on this journey with you. I'm gonna be sharing with you the process that I take to make my vision boards, my tips and tricks, and the most important thing when it comes to making a vision board and manifestation. And I highly recommend staying until the end for this tip because nobody talks about it. When you decide to make a vision board, the first step you have to take is deciding what medium and what method you want to take to make it. So a lot of people love making a digital one, but a lot of people also love making a physical one, and there's pros and cons to both. You're just gonna wanna go with what you feel more drawn to. If you make a digital one, you can make that your screensaver on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, and you will see that every day. But if you make a physical one, you will be able to have like a piece of artwork that you can hang up somewhere that you walk by constantly in your home, and it will also continue to remind you of your goals and your dreams. Both are such a beautiful thing, and if you feel called to, you can honestly do both. If you decide to do a digital one, I recommend going to Pinterest, to Google, finding images and quotes. And if you're going to do a physical one, you can either cut up pieces from magazines, images, words, phrases, and you can also decide to find your images on Pinterest prior, print them out, and cut them up and put them on your physical board as well. If you decide to do a digital one, you can use tools like Canva or Google Slides to put all of the images together in a format that looks beautiful to you. My personal preferred method lately has been digital, just because I love to keep a running board on my Pinterest where I constantly save things throughout the year. Even if I don't put them onto my vision board for the year, I save them to the board on Pinterest, and when I scroll through, it reminds me as well. So I try to keep up with it at least once a month, if not more, and I'm constantly adding to it, so I'll link my Pinterest in the description if you're curious to see what mine looks like. So once you've chosen your medium and your method, you're gonna wanna choose your focus. This is super important to your vision board process. You're gonna want to use a mix of short-term and long-term goals. I recommend making a list or journaling prior, which I'll get into in my next step. This will help you get clear on your goals and get clear on what you want out of your life, and that way you'll be able to start to translate those goals into images or into phrases, words, just beautiful photos that all come together to form this thing that is so specific to you. If you feel stuck, start to look at the things in your daily life that you might want to make a change. Start to look at the things that you want more of, want less of, and focus more on the things you want more of. Look at the people around you as well and how they are inspiring you. Some people's vision boards have more short-term goals on them. Some people's have more long-term goals on them. For me, I like to include more short-term goals with a few long-term goals, because I know that the short-term goals I'm focusing on are some things that are going to help me achieve my long-term goals. So like, I need to achieve XYZ in the short term in order to achieve this long-term goal. So if you're making them yearly, I highly recommend focusing a little bit more on your short-term goals with some big picture items as well. Now, this is the big, most important step, is making it an experience when you're crafting your vision board. Whether or not it's a physical vision board, you're gonna wanna just have it be a time that is dedicated to you and that is dedicated to your goal. These are the steps I want you to take while you're creating the experience. Put on some music. I want you to put on some music that seriously inspires you to get creative, whether that be your favorite artist or whether that be some frequency music. For me, I personally like using frequency music. I used the sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra music and frequencies to play while I was making my vision board this year, because it helped ground me to the present moment, and it helped me get into myself and go deep inside, and helped me figure out these things that I wanted to include. Now, you can make your vision boards alone, or you can do them with someone else, a close friend, your family, whoever you feel comfortable with, who wants to do the same sort of thing, who wants to have that experience with. For me, I did mine with my friend 2 weeks ago, and it was so special because we are both very like-minded and we wanted to have the same experience while we were crafting it. Because it's literally so important. You're crafting your future. You're crafting something that you're gonna look at every day and call in. You're crafting something that's inspiring you to be better. So it only makes sense that you would want to do that either with yourself or someone who inspires you to do that as well. So before you get into your journaling and your listing, I want you to meditate. This will help you just drop into the present moment, especially if you have some music on that grounds you. So if you meditate, you can either follow a guided meditation or you can just do solo self-guided meditation, and you can get grounded to the present moment so that you're able to focus better. If you meditate, you might also come up with ideas while you're meditating. It might just clear space in your head to allow these ideas to come to you. So I highly, highly, highly recommend meditating before you get into this process. After you meditate, you'll then be ready to journal on it. This is so important because it's so much easier to create a vision board when you go in and you go at it with a plan. So you can use any of these following journal prompts. I'll include them on the next screen. Or you can just journal intuitively. So you can make your journaling prompt be in a list form. You can start listing some of the goals you have, or you can journal and just write a couple pages just about what you want your life to look like in general. That way, you can create a list from that of things that you might want to find an image of. How can you turn that word or that phrase into an image? And how can that image provoke that feeling within you? That's so important to remember. So, for example, I'll insert an image here of something I put on my vision board, which might not make sense when you look at it, but it makes sense to me because I went through the feeling I want, and then I went through what that manifestation means to me and how I want to portray on my vision board. So you'll see this image and you might think like, okay, and that's just XYZ. But for me, I looked at this image and I saw it and I thought, this is how I want to depict the reach that I want to have. This is how I want to depict the reach I want to have to my audience and the connection I want to have to people, and what I want to call in this year with my content creation. I want to reach people, I want to help people, and that's how I'm showing it on my vision board. So the more clear you can get with what you want and the specific things that you want to call in, the easier it will be to translate that into a beautiful image. And just a little hack, if you just overall want to be a healthier person, include more wellness into your life, just search that word and then aesthetic next to it. It's so basic, but there's so many beautiful pictures that come up when you include the word aesthetic in your Pinterest search. So once you've finished your journaling and your listing and just getting clear on the things you want to see on your vision board and the goals that you have, then you can get into the gathering of the images. This is where I like to use Pinterest. I like to create a board for my year and I like to save my images to that board. So this is whether or not you're making a digital or a physical one. If you choose to make a physical one, you might want to get out some magazines and start cutting things out, cutting words out, cutting pictures out, cutting phrases out. But if you're making a physical one, you can also use Pinterest and then later print out those images and cut them up. So it's really personal preference, whatever feels right to you. You can do a mixture of both. But for me, I like to just use Pinterest because it just feels like it's unlimited. It's endless opportunity for cool images. It's endless opportunity. You can find exactly what you're looking for. So I recommend saving these things to a board because like I said, I love to continue adding to my board throughout the year. Even if I don't add them to my final vision board, I like to keep adding them to my Pinterest board because it keeps me on top of my goals and what I want to be doing and accomplishing. This part probably takes the longest, but it's the most important part because you're saving the perfect images that really resonate with you. And it's such a beautiful experience, which is why I recommend doing it with someone who you love and with music on, with the vibes on. Keep revisiting, keep reopening your journal, keep looking at what you listed out. Make sure that you're actually getting those things across. And this is also kind of where I want to add the point. You might want to set aside enough time to be able to do this. I personally find it more successful when I'm able to do it all in one go rather than in 3 sittings, but This past time I made a vision board, I gathered all my images, and then the following week I put them onto a board in a specific layout that felt right to me. But if you're able to do it all in one sitting, I think that's even better because you have that same intention the entire time and you have the same energy going. Maybe even light a candle, just make it something distraction free and just make it such an experience that you will remember. Every time you look at your vision board, you'll also remember how you felt when you were gathering those images, how you felt when you were thinking about your dream life. And the feeling is so important. The feeling is the secret. The feeling is the key. So the final thing I want to leave you with, which I feel like nobody talks about, is the crucial step to manifesting these things into your life. And that is gratitude. In order for the universe to allow more beautiful things into your life, you have to be extremely grateful for where you are now. And I know that can be hard sometimes, especially if you're in kind of a shitty situation. But gratitude will take you further than anything I mentioned in this video. Gratitude for where you are and what it's taught you is what will let the universe know that you are ready for something better and something bigger. And that's the main thing that most people miss when they are trying to manifest and when they're doing their vision boards, is they're missing what's around them right now, what there is to just feel so blessed for. There's so much that we forget in our day-to-day life that we are extremely blessed to be experiencing. You know, your shitty job you might have, that's teaching you a lesson. The shitty living situation you have right now, it's showing you what you cannot tolerate in the future, and you will get out of that. And your manifestations will just come into fruition so quick if you're able to just pause daily or every time you look at your vision board and think about where you are right now and how you're so blessed, but how you can release some of these old things while acknowledging the gratitude you have for them. There's a really powerful exercise I want to share with you that I did this year, and I feel like it's really amplifying my manifestations and really calling things in for me. And that is a reflection exercise. I wrote down every single month of 2022, and then under each month, I wrote down everything I accomplished during that year. And that was huge for me. I was able to identify things that I might have just brushed past and not really thought twice about. Allowing myself to pause and think about things that I would have otherwise brushed past is letting the universe know that I'm grateful for everything it is showing me. That is something I might have dreamt about 2 years ago, and I just let it brush by this past year. So if you go through month by month and write down all of your goals, all of your achievements, everything that you've done that you're just proud of, you will set the tone for your vision board for the upcoming year. So just as an example, I went through my camera roll just to remind myself what I did last year, because I know it can be hard to just remember off the top of your head, like, what the hell was I doing in April of 2022? Like, for example, in May of last year, I moved into my first apartment, and that was a huge accomplishment for me and something that I had been calling in for 2 years prior. So without looking back at that and giving it that acknowledgement, I might have let it brush by and just looked at it as something that happened in my life rather than something I should be extremely grateful for that happened in my life. Another example is in this past December when I started my YouTube channel. That is a huge step for me and something that for such a long time was out of my comfort zone. But by acknowledging that I did that, I'm just giving the universe extra gratitude, and I'm opening myself up to a world of possibilities. So I highly recommend doing this. You can even make it like a vision board practice. You can set up the months and create almost a collage with images of things that you did every month. It can be as simple as, in June, I spent more time in nature. That's huge. That's a win, especially if that's something you want to call in for the rest of your life. You want to spend more time in nature for the rest of your life. Well, in June last year, you finally started seizing the weather and you started seizing nature. So if you give the universe gratitude for that, the universe will be like, all right, bitch, here's some more nature, here's some more nature, here's some more nature. So you can just add images from every month of things you accomplished, and looking at that, you will feel so proud of yourself. You'll be able to identify everything that you've manifested last year, which will just let the universe know that you are on the right track and that you are ready for more. You are ready for bigger. You are ready for better. So as I said, I would recommend revisiting your vision board monthly, especially if you don't have it set as something like your wallpaper or your screensaver or hung up on your wall. Revisit it, and you can edit it if you'd like, or you can have a running Pinterest board like I mentioned. That is just so helpful. I will link mine in the description if you are curious what mine looks like. To recap, what you have to do to have a successful vision boarding process is you have to pick your medium. It has to feel right to you. You have to choose your focus, the things you want to focus on for your vision board. You have to make it an experience, something that you can just enjoy and feel content and relaxed during. And then I just highly recommend implementing some sort of gratitude routine into your vision boarding process. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to hear what you learned in this in the comments below, something you might have already done during your vision board practice. I want to hear all about how your vision boarding practice comes out. Just talk to me in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video if it helped and subscribe also. Yeah, I cannot wait to hear how your vision boarding process goes or how it went this past year. And yeah, just chat with me. Thank you so much for joining me and see you next time.